Hi everyone, today's topic is a doozy, but it's so important, so stick with me. I threw myself into the research big time because I truly needed an education myself, and I can't believe how much I didn't know. So with several days of research, I present to you my report on sunscreen. Now you can Google best sunscreens and get thousands of hits, but what really determines what's best? I looked at a lot of different lists, but I ultimately decided to focus on the work of the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to protecting human health and the environment. First of all, we have a few major issues we need to discuss. One, the United States has much looser rules when it comes to chemicals that are allowed in products. Anyone who has spent time understanding clean beauty knows that most other countries don't allow half the ingredients that we put in our products. It's criminal, and thankfully the FDA is in the process of revamping the rules when it comes to sunscreens. However, for the time being, until those regulations are put in place, we need to educate ourselves on the best products to use. Of particular concern is the ingredient oxybenzone, which is in about 2/3 of the products in the market right now. This is a harmful hormone-disrupting chemical that is readily absorbed by the body. This is not good, especially when it comes to kids. In a little bit, we're going to go through some products that are free of this harmful chemical. The second problem we need to understand is SPF. According to the FDA, higher sun protection factor, i.e. SPF, has not been shown to provide additional clinical benefit and may provide users with a false sense of security. And we all do it. The higher the SPF that we have on, the safer we feel, which likely leads to more time spent in the sun without reapplying. Interestingly, there is currently a proposed regulation in front of the FDA right now to ban products higher than an SPF of 60. So stay tuned on that one. But in general, I would say don't waste your money on anything higher than an SPF of 50. The third issue is something I didn't know until I did my research. You know how most lotions say broad spectrum with both UVA and UVB protection? Well, sadly, for a lot of products out there, this disclaimer on the bottle is slightly misleading. In a nutshell, sunscreens are invented to stop sunburns from happening. Sunburns are caused by UVB rays, but UVB rays only make up about 3 to 5% of the UV radiation striking the Earth's surface. In contrast, we are exposed to many more UVA rays. Now, UVA rays don't burn or blister the skin that we know as a sunburn. However, they can be even more damaging because they penetrate the skin more deeply, causing a different type of DNA damage. UVA exposure suppresses the immune system, causes harmful free radicals to form in the skin, and is associated with higher risk of developing melanoma. So when we use lotions with higher SPF, we may in fact be preventing a burn, but we are likely staying out in the sun for longer periods of time, ending up with more cumulative UVA exposure, which, as we just discussed, might actually be more dangerous when it comes to aging skin and free radicals. So in judging a sunscreen, having a really good balance of UVA and UVB protection is vitally important. Sadly, in our country, the rules about adequate UVA protection are too loose. Europe's rules on this balance are very strict, and the US really needs to catch up. In a second, I'll go through some products that have a better balance of the UVA-UVB combination. And the fourth big problem we have are the sprays. I know, all parents out there want to punch me in the face right now, but here's the deal. Sprays suck. There's no other way to describe it. They don't provide good coverage, and what you're inhaling into your lungs is no bueno. That said, there are some sprays out there that are better than others in terms of ingredients, but in general, sprays should be used as an additional coverage and layers after one really good full coat of lotion is applied first. And I'm telling you, if you apply one really good coat of sunscreen at home before your kid is covered in sand or freaking out that he needs to get in the pool, if you do this process at home thoroughly versus at the beach or pool, you're going to have much better success at coverage. This also gives the lotion ample time to soak in and dry before getting completely submerged in the water. Just a thought. Okay, so moving on to actual products. The EWG looked at 750 beach and sports sunscreens with SPF in them to create their ratings. Their sunscreens got scores from 1 to 10, with 1 being the most beneficial and 10 being the least beneficial. This score was determined based on 5 things, most of which we've just discussed. 1, health hazards and toxicity associated with listed ingredients. 2, UVB protection based on SPF ratings. 3, UVA protection, which as we learned is different from SPF. 4, the balance of UVA and UVB protection, and 5, sunscreen stability and how quickly the ingredients break down in the sun. Sunscreens made with minerals zinc oxide and titanium dioxide generally score well in the EWG's ratings because they provide strong sun protection with few health concerns and don't break down in the sun. Years ago, mineral sunscreens were famously white and chalky and therefore less appealing for everyone to use. Now, manufacturers use nano-sized versions of these minerals to increase clarity so you don't look like this. I took this list and marched on down to both my local CVS and Walgreens to see what I could find, and I was pleasantly surprised. I narrowed down their massive list by filtering it with lotions only and less expensive. Feel free to go on their website and filter the way you want, but I use so much lotion I am not spending $50 on a bottle of the fancy stuff. So here are my top 5 lotions that were either rated as 1s or 2s on the list, and I found them in my local drugstore. All 5 of these come in kid and baby versions, but I am going to just show you the regular versions. Coppertone has a new line of products called Pure and Simple. Nice work, Coppertone. And Aveeno also has a new line of products called Positively Mineral. And lastly, Neutrogena has a new product called Sheer Zinc, which is great. But interesting to note, Neutrogena also had some of the worst offenders on the list, so make sure you're buying the right product. And number 4 and 5 are both brands that are new to me but get great ratings. First is Think Sport, and the second is Bare Republic. This one has a little shimmer in it, which I happen to like. There are a ton of options that fall into the high ratings, but a lot of them you have to order online. That's why I wanted to spend a little time to try to find the options that I could grab at the store. I've made a little cheat sheet to help with all of this, so click the link in the blog post to download. This was several days of work synthesized down, so, well, you're welcome. And it is worth noting that a study out of Stanford University concluded that people who relied solely on sunscreen for sun protection got more sunburns than people who reported infrequent sunscreen use but wore hats and clothing to shield themselves from the sun. So just a little FYI in conclusion. Okay, so I realized that this was a little longer than normal, but this was such super important information that I wanted to share with you. I hope everyone has a happy summer and remember to stay protected. Don't forget to download my cheat sheet, and as always, thanks for watching.